Is the love we used to know, fleeting like a dream?
Hi everyone, today I am bringing a special guest. Her name is Charmaine, but goes by Char for short. So, why don't you tell me about yourself and how long you've been with the company?
Okay, I've been with the company for over 7 years. Um, I started out I've had a couple different titles.
Okay.
So I started out as the office, I think, coordinator. Then it went to strictly human resource. Then we went to ADS program coordinator. I mean, I've kind of,
Multiple hats.
multiple hats. And then the final one was office manager. And I'm like, okay, that kind of fits
Yeah.
me because I can oversee a lot of the duties in the complete, the whole
Yeah,
office. So,
absolutely.
let me see, what else about me? Well, get a little bit of my background. I am from Flint, Michigan as well. I've been here in Toledo for 8 years. I think it's been 8 years.
8 years.
Yeah.
It's a long time.
It's a long time, unfortunately. But they know I'm still Michigan at heart.
Yes,
I don't
absolutely.
rep any Ohio State.
Mm-mm.
No. Let me see. And I have 2 degrees. My first degree is just associates in applied science for medical assisting. Wasted my time, young, just
Yeah.
don't even know what you really want to do. Just pick that on a humbug because I'm like, okay, I can get done easy. I could be a medical assistant.
Right.
Then I didn't realize how much a medical assistant really does.
Right.
So when I did my externship, I realized I wasted my time. But it was too late because I was done with the program.
Right.
So I was immediately, after I graduated with that applied science degree, I immediately got back in school that fall. And then that's how I ended up picking Bachelor's of Health Service Administration.
Okay.
Because I've always been organized, always been paid attention to detail. I like things to make sense, structure, where detail, you can find things, you know exactly where to go.
Yeah.
And that's where I met Deisha in finishing up a couple of our bachelor classes together. It was funny because she was always the student that sat at the front, especially in Mr. Brown's class. She sat at the front, and I kind of always sat kind of further in the back, not way, way back, but she was always the one answering the questions. I'm just like, oh my God, well, she just let him,
Let him teach.
Let him teach so we can get out of here. Because it was already like a three-hour class. So we ended up being in a group project together. Like he assigned us groups, and I think she was in our group. And I'm like, okay, she's cool. She know her stuff, and she's still kind of down to earth, And then she did tell us that she had, her business in Ohio. At that time, I didn't really know exactly what she did. So as time went on, she talked about it, and I was like, she's cool. So that's kind of how I met Miss Vines.
Yes.
Yeah, that's how I met her. So
very cool.
Yeah,
very cool.
We were actually classmates.
3 hours. That's a long class.
Yeah, it was, and it was a night class.
Oh.
So it was 6 to 9. But Mr. Brown was so cool. A lot of the times he would let us out a little early.
Oh, that's
because he didn't
nice.
want to be there all day either. But
no one does. That's late.
It
We
is.
just want to be home.
I used to
our
dread that
pajamas.
class. Yes, I dreaded. Especially I was younger. I just wanted to be out, partying with my friends.
Yeah.
No, had to go to class.
So you said you're an office manager.
Yes.
What are your day-to-day responsibilities, and what do they look like?
My day-to-day responsibilities include, of course, I'm still part of HR, human resource. So I'm trying to recruit, always looking for good staff, good workers for our home. That usually consumes my HR. Like the day center is not as hard to staff because everybody wants Monday through Friday. But that house, it keeps me having to recruit because we got to get the right fit in there.
Absolutely.
So organizing that. So interviewing, orientation, new hire paperwork packets, putting those together. I do on the back end things as far as the UIR logs, which are the incident report logs, making sure those are, done in a timely manner. And it's just like a lot of the paperwork I am preparing and printing off for the next month because I always try to be proactive.
Absolutely.
Something if anything were to happen, you know, I had to miss a day or a couple days, I want to make sure that if I am going, I come back, I'm not so far down.
Absolutely.
You know, when things are accessible for like the team to, you know, to get them. So
Right.
I'm always trying to be 2 steps ahead.
Absolutely.
Like I've already started printing like the February documentation,
Nice.
doing the February calendar. I do the calendars for the ADS.
Yes. And those are like the outings. And events and
The
stuff.
outings.
Yeah.
Yep, I do the outing calendar as well. So, I mean, I'm pretty much on the paperwork side. There's always something for me to do.
Yeah.
Always, you know.
Keeps you busy.
It keeps me busy. It does. It does. But I enjoy it though because it makes the time go by.
Absolutely.
You know? So, yeah.
No one likes a slow.
No, because you're
long
like
day.
sitting around, you waiting. What do I do?
Yeah.
It's 10 o'clock. It's 11. Like, by the time, a lot of times when I come in here, honestly, like, okay, I get in at 9, and then next thing I know, it's time to eat lunch. It's 12, and then next thing I know, it's 2 o'clock, and I'm just like, oh my God.
Where'd my day go?
Yeah. But that's okay.
Yeah, nothing wrong with that. So what made you get into this industry? And was it something you always wanted to do?
No.
Okay.
Gotten to the field at least 16, 17 years ago.
Okay.
Back then, I was looking for another job. I wanted to get out of retail.
Okay.
I found out young
I
did not like retail, selling clothes to customers and bothering people. No. So I found a direct care job in the newspaper. Back then, it was newspaper.
Okay.
And you had to call the number on the Mondays. And I didn't know exactly what it included. So when I talked to the lady over the phone, she was telling me about it. And I'm like, okay, I'm taking care of people. She's like, yeah, but they're individuals with some disabilities and some challenging behaviors. Because where the group home that I work for, it was more on the mental health side of things.
Okay,
So a lot of behaviors I had never been privy to before, ever.
Okay.
So once I did the interview, they sent me to do like a meet and greet, so to speak, observation. And it must have been a good day because I was like, okay, just kind of, you know, they're adults, but they kind of remind you of kids. I'm like, okay, keeping them busy, you know, providing their meals, you know, and all that. So that's how I got into it, on doing the actual direct care, you know. Did that for 7 years straight while I was still in school for the medical assistant at first. And then once I finished the medical assistant and I started my bachelor's, I was like, I don't want to do the actual direct care my entire life. You know, I still want to see on the backside of how it all comes together. I guess on the admin side.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so the last like year of me being at the group home, I got promoted to be, I think it was called a senior program aide.
Okay.
And I started to do like paperwork.
Okay.
So I did printed out the medication records every month. I did those, you know, highlighted for each shift, which shift got to, you know, I did all that stuff. That was organization. I like that stuff.
Yeah.
And so I did that. I did the grocery shopping, supply shopping. And again, I enjoyed that as well. So I was kind of easing away from that. They gave me a paperwork day where I can do that type of stuff. And I was like, okay, I can do this.
Yeah.
So then when I graduated with my bachelor's, I went to, it was a nursing, I did my externship at a nursing agency back home in Flint.
Okay.
And it was different working with nurses, and then I had to learn things their way because nurses, you know, they're a little bit different. They're very particular.
Yes.
They'll tell you what they're not going to do. I'm a nurse. I'm not making that to such and such.
Yes.
So I started to do, and my position there was scheduler / human resource.
Okay.
So I was young. I was fresh, straight out of, you know, college, and I was bringing on different ideas as far as recruiting. I did a lot of new recruiting there. I brought on new nurses. You know, I kind of tidied up things in their office on the paperwork side, got it more organized. So that was that. Did a year of that.
Yes.
Brought me here to Toledo to the last company I was with as office coordinator.
Okay.
Did that company for a year. And then Deisha reached out to me, and then, you know, I came aboard. So that's kind of how I got into the field. Now, even though I kind of stepped away from the direct care side for some years. But it's still a passion, you know. Once I've started doing, 7 or 8 years of straight direct care, you start to gravitate and you understand, people like to be treated, treat me like a human, like I'm supposed to be treated. Right. So, and it's so crazy because then you get on the admin side and you start to, well, for me, I start to kind of miss. I'm like, do I want to step away completely? Yeah. Maybe I can just find a job and just do it, a couple days. Do both. Yeah. And so that's what happened. I was working here. I actually had 3 jobs all in total.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Wow. So I had a senior job. I was helping take care of seniors. Yep. Then I had my individuals, my ladies that, on the DD side. And then still doing the admin portion here.
That's a lot.
I know.
That's a lot.
Of course, before I became a mom, I like to stay busy. My life has always been busy. So
yeah, I mean, nothing wrong with that. Yeah, like we said earlier, it makes the day go by faster.
It does.
Yes. So, what was your favorite thing about working in the center? At least, was it taking care of the individuals? Was
what are you talking about in the center, like here, or just in the field?
In the field in general.
My favorite thing was like making a difference. Yeah. I'm not going to say I started out as the perfect employee. No, I didn't. I had my little shortcuts, learning things. And once I started, years go on, you get to learn. This is really serious. This is people's lives. You have to do things the right way. And it's kind of like our shirts, on one of our shirts say, don't always do what's right, but don't do what's easy, do what's right. I think that's what our shirts say, in the blue ones. But so, and then integrity, that's a big one I learned here. Like, you want to still treat people and do what you're supposed to do when somebody's not looking. So even though managers were there, we're always going to do what we're supposed to do when managers there. When managers leave, I started to realize, like, that's not how you was acting when the manager was here. So you're not going to do that to that client. So it just started to get me thinking, like, I wouldn't want nobody to do me or my family, like somebody that. I care about like that. Absolutely. So I got myself together and I got on the right path after my shenanigans. I got on the right path.
It's hard when you're young.
It is. It is.
I don't know. You got to be more of an adult, but you're already an adult. You do. Yeah, definitely hard.
I've witnessed some things, I've been in, situations uncomfortable where I've had to speak up, and I'm like, it feels good to make a difference. And then when I started to work with, like, when I kind of eased out of working, back home in Flint, and I got down here in Toledo, I worked with some clients that were like high function from what I was used to. Ones that could really tell me that they are appreciative of me or they're grateful. Oh, I was waiting for you to get in for your shift. I just want to talk to you. And just like that stuff like really mattered to me. And I'm like, and at the time when I first got down here, I was working third shift. So I had a specific individual who would not go to bed until I came in. Aww. And she waited for me on my night. She waited for me. Sweet. And she just wanted to tell me about her day. And I just provided, it was a listening ear. Yeah. Sometimes that's all it takes. So sweet. That's all it takes.
Because some individuals don't have their families come as often. So you're like the closest avenue that they have at the moment. Yep. That's,
So I think that right there, it plays on your heart. Yeah. It does. I just enjoy them though. I do.
Yeah. Definitely fulfilling.
Yeah, definitely fulfilling. It is.
So what would you say, because you've been to other places, what would you say your favorite thing about Precious Places is, and what's so different?
Like what stands out? Yeah. I think my favorite thing is because it's such a family setting. A lot of companies, you're not going to be as personable with the CEO, the owner. They're hiring people, but they don't really know what's going on in their business. They don't know their individuals. They couldn't tell you anything about their individuals. They just know that they're bringing in money, you know, whereas here it's like we are so close. We're a close-knit family, as I always say, dysfunctional family. But we just have always, since I've been, we've always had that bond. Of course, some days are better than others. Some days we gonna be mad at each other, irritated, but then we gonna come back, and we gonna get it together. But I think for me, the biggest thing is like a family setting.
Yes.
And especially like with me being here and not having family per se in Toledo.
Yeah.
You know, that's just been one of those things where it's like, okay, that's my work family, but it's my family here.
Yeah, it makes it more inviting
It
too,
does.
I think, for
It
clients
does.
as well. Like you said,
It does.
knowing that the owner, CEO is already on top of it kind of gives them that peace of mind.
It does. And I think too, like with the clients, they know genuine people. We do a lot of things to show that we appreciate our individuals because they didn't have to select us, you know.
No, yeah.
So when we are doing things, we try to do things that other companies we haven't heard that they're doing. And we do get a lot of feedback, you know, from families. They're like, you know, I've been to such and such. They don't do this. You know, each company gonna be different.
Yeah,
but this is what we do.
Absolutely.
And I like that we stand on what we say.
Yes.
You know, so, but I do tell the families and stuff. I say, I know we're not perfect. I'm not saying that by far. We're not perfect.
Right.
But if you bring something to us, we're going to do our best to resolve, you know, whatever issue, you know, it is.
Absolutely. And that's the best thing you can do. Like, growing up, I always said, when you think you're 100% perfect, that's when you stop caring. Yeah. So just continue that mindset. Like, you always can grow is very important.
It is. And I think, too, another thing that I do enjoy here is because a lot of the people has been here, like, years, you know, and that goes to show that they're genuine. They care, you know.
Absolutely.
That I know that I've witnessed too over the years. Like, no, this staff is not going to do that because she's been here as long as me, or he's been here, and that just matters when a person can be with the company for years. I mean, loyalty is big, but it also to me shows something like, well, they're doing something right if this company has been able to keep these employees for X amount of years. You know,
absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah.
What would you say to individuals that want to join this line of field? What would be your biggest message?
Like individual staff wanting to get into it?
Yeah.
Okay, I would say make sure that you're pure in whatever it is that you do. Don't come into this field for the wrong reasons. If you're looking to get rich or because it's not that field. You know, I'm going to be honest. It's decent, but it's not going to, if that's what you're looking for. So go in with pure intentions, being honest, being caring, being genuine to individuals, because I tell people, this could be you any given day. Yeah. What if this were you? What if it was somebody that you know? We can all be born normal, but in a blink of an eye, we can have a health scare.
Absolutely.
You know, anything can happen, you know, and I've had a health scare too, and it put things in perspective. Yeah. So I would tell people, make sure if this is what you want to do, you have to take it serious. Absolutely. You have to, regardless if it's a day center that you're working or at a home, it's still people alive. You still have to pay attention. You know, you still have to care. You still have to be genuine. And I know I hear a lot of people back home that don't really understand my field, you know, like with my family or whatever. I salute you because they need more people like you, because, you know, people just don't do people right. And I'm like, that they are. Yeah. I'm like, and I would never, me personally, if it's somebody, I'm never going to refer somebody if I know they're not going to do what they're supposed to do.
Absolutely.
You know, I just, if I know about it, I'm going to tell you.
Well, and like you said, like, if it's you put in that situation, you would want to care the same way. The same. That you would, you know, care for someone else. Yes. So. And I tell people, I say, well, you know, even like the people that I'm interviewing, well, when you want to be wiped after you've used the bathroom, wouldn't you want your hands washed if you got, or face wash if you got food over your face? Absolutely. They're nonverbal, but treat them as if you would want to be treated. You know, it's the simple things that we take advantage. It'll just be like, really? Absolutely. So you're not going to bundle her coat up, but you bundled up though, right? Right. You put hat gloves on. You put hat gloves on, yeah. But what if this is your child? So if you pick your child from school or daycare, how would you expect them to? Absolutely. You know, when I put it to that, a lot of people understand it. I mean, some people, you know, gonna be people, but yeah. Absolutely. You just have to have that grace and patience. You have to. Absolutely.
Patience is patience. Now, I'm not going to say in my personal life, my patience is a little bit thinner at work. Because people always say that, Shar, you just, nothing seems about you. Because for one, I have to be a certain way, right? I can't just be on the floor negative. If I'm irritated at something, I'm not going to come out on the floor. I want to get myself together because y'all don't deserve, the clients or the staff don't deserve to see or hear me upset. So I got to keep it positive as much as I can. And then whatever else, I'll deal with that when I come back behind closed doors.
Yeah.
But, yeah, patience is definitely a big one.
Yeah. What would you say when working with individuals with these disabilities was your biggest challenge stepping in the first time, having no experience?
Behaviors. Not knowing how to deal or de-escalate the situation. Again, where I came from, the group home, I work with a bunch of older people that were set in their ways, seeing how they were dealing with them, and I'm like, this can't be right, but I'm the newbie, I'm young, nobody, I'm the snitch, because they didn't know me, so, once I realized, like, I don't have to do what they do to de-escalate a behavior. Maybe my approach could be different. Absolutely. Y'all been here for years, but and a good friend of mine, she's from here, but she ended up moving to Flint. It's like the roles reversed, but she helped me to realize that, because she came in, she was brand new assistant manager, getting us out of our set ways, got us out of our comfort zone. Well, why can't he feed himself? Well, why can't you guys assist him? And we were just like, because this is what it was. But she was bringing on fresh new ideas, if she's cutting up and she can do this, why won't you guys try to talk to her in a calmer approach? So, I started to think, after me and her had a conversation, I'm like, that's true. I think in this field, dealing with the behaviors can be the biggest issue. Absolutely. It could be, boy, oh boy, we got stories for days here at Precious Places with some of the behaviors that we didn't have. And we got through them. We got through them and through trial and error. And something else I learned with this field is, like, as they say, the staff really don't have rights. Staff don't have rights. Yes, you can go down, you can press charges, you can do all that, but at the end of the day, they're clients. They receive services. This is the job that you signed up for. Absolutely. So if you can't handle it, you may have to find something else.
Different. Yeah. And that's another thing too. Everyone thinks, oh, it's easy. It's not. It's especially like those behaviors you're talking about. Yes. Just like talking with different people, everyone reacts a certain way based on how you talk with them. It's the same. Exactly the same with the client.
And I know sometimes I've witnessed too, couple incidents over the years, staff react quick and they've got themselves in the MUI investigation. Not purposely though. It's just one of those things where it's just like instinct. If somebody finna come at you and charge at you, your first instinct is to protect yourself.
Absolutely.
It's always, you get stuck in that middle, like, okay, am I protecting myself, or I'm just gonna let this client beat me? Right. No, you're not gonna beat me. We're not gonna do that. So if it comes from my safety, I'm gonna do what I have to do. Absolutely. And I will take the consequences later. And that, a lot of that too, people I've seen get into some situations. Yeah.
What would you say to the families that are trying to find a home? What's the biggest thing for you because you went to so many different ones, what's the biggest thing you would say to watch for?
I would say go with your gut. Watch for how the staff are responding to others, because people can be staged, people can put on fronts, for tours, or I would say, first, for one, trust your gut instinct. Do your research, and in the event that you do select, pop up random times if you have to, because you can see what they're doing in the actual state of what, instead of them being warned, oh, such and such family's coming, of course they're going to clean up, they're going to do such and such. But I would definitely say do your research on the company. There's a lot of companies I know that swept a lot of incidents under the rug, but I would definitely say I would trust my instinct. Once I go to a facility or a group home or whatever, a company, I would try to get as much information as I can on that company before I make my final selection.
Decision.
Yes.
Is there anything else that you would tell families that are looking for the homes or people that want to join this industry? Anything else you would say that's important for them to know?
It's important, like I said, other than background, find out how long have they had their individuals in their homes or in their facilities. Find out more about I would say the team. Who you'll be dealing with. You can find out more about the team. The other individuals, it's safe as a home. Find out what they're without HIPAA. Find out what because your loved one may not fit for this client, and they've already been there. What if they got extreme behaviors and you got a chill loved one? It may be too much. So find out more about that. I will say though, I know I've been told, shall I say, that caregiving for a family can be a bit much, because you're solely reliable. And it's sometimes that I've been told it's hard to separate the two. If you have to be the caregiver, say, to your mom and to your dad now. The roles has reversed, right?
Absolutely.
So I would definitely suggest seeking out, looking for those day programs, because you deserve to have a life too still, So I would definitely suggest reaching out, like I said, getting information. The day programs is what a lot of families need. Again, it's Monday through Friday, no weekend holidays. It doesn't have to be every day.
Absolutely.
But even if you need a break a couple days a week, you got to take care of business. You got family, things that you need to do. I think is very important. Mental health is very serious, and it can take a toll. It can take a toll on you. Being a caregiver, it can. So I would say, go down every avenue that you can. To seek, and don't stop at just visiting one. Go on those tours. If you need to reschedule, if you missed a question, write down your questions for these providers.
Absolutely.
So you can get all the information that you need, so you can make the best selection for your family and for your loved one.
Absolutely. Well, thank you for letting me sit down with you today. Really appreciate it.
Thank you.